Welcome to Elderberry by Elizabeth. My name's Elizabeth, and today I want to take you on step 2 of my adventure with cooking an entire pumpkin. A pumpkin pudding is very much like a pumpkin pie. The only difference is you don't have to bother with the crust. So you can whip this up in about 5 or 10 minutes of prep time and go about your day while it cooks in the oven. This recipe is so good with a little dairy whipped cream or non-dairy whipped cream, depending on your dietary needs. It's great by itself, warm right out of the oven. It's great cold the next day. You can add cinnamon and nutmeg and ginger to it to make it taste like a pumpkin pie. I chose to leave it more maple and pumpkin flavor and didn't add any of those spices.
Well, let's get started with the ingredients you'll need. 2 eggs plus 2 egg yolks, well beaten, a 3/4 cup mixture of either honey, maple syrup, or some combination of the two, 1/2 cup of oat flour, and 2 cups of pumpkin puree. Preheat your oven to 450 degrees and melt a 1/4 cup of coconut oil in a glass baking dish in the oven. My stand mixer made this recipe so easy. I highly recommend using one, but you can also beat the ingredients together by hand. There is definitely an order of operations to this pudding, so follow these steps in order. You have to add the eggs and the sugar element first, then beat that well, then add the flour, beat it well again, then add the pumpkin and stir it up at the end. I beat the eggs and sugar for 2 minutes on high speed. Then along with the oat flour, I added just a tiny pinch of baking soda. This gives it a nice little brown color on the top. If you want to add traditional pumpkin pie spice, this is also the step where you would add that in. Once the flour was mixed in, I beat it together with the eggs and the sugar on high for another minute. Most of the fluffiness of this recipe comes from the eggs and sugar acting as a rising agent. So getting all the little air bubbles in there that you can is really important for a light spongy pudding. I have homemade vanilla extract that I thought would add some nice extra depth to this pudding, so I threw in a little bit of that along with the pumpkin puree, stirred it up until it was just mixed, and then got my hot baking dish out of the oven. Can we all just take a moment and appreciate how beautiful this sound is? Here, just wait for it. And this little guy will bake in the oven for 30 minutes on 450 degrees. In my last video, I demonstrated how to roast pumpkin seeds, or pepitas. Now, if you want to refer back to that video, it was my pumpkin soup video that I released last week, Well, this week I'm going to take some of those roasted pepitas. They're already browned with a little bit of oil and salt on them. And I'm going to lightly caramelize them with some melted honey. I put a tablespoon and a half of honey in the bottom of a saucepan, slid the honey around to melt it, and watched it until it turned a light amber color. Once it hit that amber color, I added the pepitas and immediately removed them from the heat and allowed them to cool. The longer you let the honey bubble, the more crispy your candied pepitas will be. I wanted mine to be fairly soft with just a little bit of that crunch, so I took them out fairly quickly. Served warm, this has the consistency of a bread pudding. It's very soft and spongy. If you chill it, it will wedge and slice like a pumpkin pie. I hope you enjoy this tasty fresh pumpkin recipe as much as we do.
If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up or share it with your friends. You can find me on Facebook or YouTube for more content just like this every week. I hope you enjoy your day.